Top 15 laptops in 2023. Number 1.
Chromebook Raspberry Pi Laptop Review. A new laptop on the market named the Chromebook is backwards compatible with previous versions of Chromebook 2. However, they've made quite a few improvements, including a small battery and easier assembly. It comes with some drawbacks though, including a smaller screen and an unclear cooling system. Our custom hardware accessories include everything you need for your unique needs. The CPL can be plugged into any compatible outlet and is shipped in a white box containing an AC adapter, mouse, and other essentials. The laptop measures a 19.0 cm x 29.1 cm x 4.6 cm and has a weight of 2.4 kg with the included accessories on board. A 32GB SD card is also supplied to help you set up your laptop's operating system and complete user guide. Electro Automated Assembly Solutions has done an amazing job innovating and streamlining their product. This has allowed for anyone to get their work done without a screwdriver. It is a known fact that laptops come with a large number of small and powerful magnetic fields. 4 PCBs allow for the Pi to be wired directly into the laptop, ensuring that it stays put at all times. This laptop has a 1366 by 768 IPS LCD display, simultaneous dual-core 1.7 GHz Intel Celeron processor, 3.5mm headphone jack and microphone, and 2-megapixel camera. It is a great device for multitasking, as it supports large graphics and big texts easily. Some laptops have a power button that can reboot the system in addition to shutting down, while others have wake-up functions that offer more options. Turning off the laptop normally requires you to go through the Linux menu. Long press power button for shutdown. Linux mouse pad above keyboard may result in occasional presses while in use. Writing a Pi-L is fast and can boot your laptop in less than 30 seconds. You also have access to drivers for the peripherals you use, like a webcam or microphone too. The new OS on the Pi was optimized to take advantage of 8 GB RAM to often use multiple applications at the same time without losing any performance. The Chromebook is great for children who want to learn more about programming and electronics. They frame the platform into a nice introductory website that allows kids to start with a project they enjoy, like a robot. The SD card is loaded with the Arduino platform or Let's Code, allowing you to unleash the Pi's full potential quickly and easily. Its number of innovative features make it a valuable entertainment hub that can also be used for work. It has extensive integrations with other systems and a web browser which allows for versatility in its use. The Raspberry Pi GPIO pins are connected directly through a flat ribbon cable made of metal. The metal ribbon connects well to ensure there is no damage, and labels are on the end for ease of use with no confusion. The expansion board allows unlimited experiments to be conducted by providing 20 male headers and 4 pins. You just need to find the right code and connect it. A laptop's battery lasts for 3 hours and takes 3 hours to charge. The Pi's quad-core CPU has an always-on fan that generates a small but noticeable hum. Geekbench's single-core and multi-core scores gave me lower numbers, with the single-core score landing at 144 and the multi-score being at 299. The CPU would throttle before my PC did because of the bad performance that Geekbench gave it. The idea of creating a portable and affordable laptop sounds great. But some Raspberry Pi-based platforms often fall short of their goal and/or leave key components out. The Raspberry Pi Foundation has introduced a new, improved version of the computer. The computer is now known as the Raspberry Pi 400 and comes with full physical compatibility with previous models, including a nice set of GPIO headers. This calculator is very clever, but it lacks in portability and needs a battery to work.
Number 2.
Asus ROG Zephyrus Duo 16 review. Built with next-gen components, including a bigger primary display, this is the latest Zephyrus Duo and it's packed with the best in specs you could ever ask for. It has a vivid pair of screens, sound that'll make you break your own eardrums, and some of the best speakers we've seen in a laptop yet. Dual screen layout is awesome because it allows you to multitask and perform other types of actions on this device. Both displays are bright and vibrant, with great color reproduction and bottom-notch responsiveness on the lower touch display. The main display is tightly attached to the hinge, and the mechanism that elevates the lower screen is extremely tough. Even though the keyboard might be squashed down beneath the second display, the keys themselves have enough travel and snappiness. You'll be able to work with it while also playing games. The larger form factor of the Asus ROG Zephyrus Pro 16 means that the keyboard has a little more room to breathe, and Asus has seen fit to include a rubber wrist rest this time around. This is an excellent addition, considering there is no room on the laptop itself. Given that our model packs an RTX 3080 Ti, we weren't that surprised when the Asus ROG Zephyrus Duo 16 performed well in our suite of gaming benchmarks. One of the reasons this monitor is used is because it has a 2560 by 1600 pixel 16:10 aspect ratio. This makes it easier to adapt to the screen size, and following our results, you'll see that there are minimal differences in performance between each preset. You will have a tough time finding a laptop that plays AAA games at 60 frames per second with ultra settings and a QHD+ screen. But, if you're willing to tweak the settings of your games, you should be able to get most PC games running at 1080p at 120 frames per second or higher. Maybe you should learn about the benefits of upscaling your games using NVIDIA's DLSS technology. This can be beneficial in letting you get high frame rates and better ray tracing performance on higher resolution displays. Some games run better in 1080p at 60 frames per second than others. People should try to see if a game they are considering buying will be smoother at the higher resolutions. In synthetic benchmarks, the Ryzen 9 6900HX was a beast. It reached its 4.9 GHz boost clock and handled our demanding CPU tests with ease. The machine is also comfortable to use for work and play use if you're thinking of upgrading. Asus has created something called Thermal Grizzly Conductinaut Liquid Metal Solution, which helps improve system temperatures and is also something to help keep up with other development when it comes to cooling. Despite the laptop not getting uncomfortably hot, it does get warm under heavy load. But this aspect is more than outweighed by the dual fans that are quieter than a regular Duo. Your laptop has 6 tweeters and 2 woofers that create a great soundstage in action-packed games. It is probably the best I've ever seen in a laptop. Even on the most demanding tests, the Asus ROG Zephyrus Duo 16 didn't have a problem powering through. It traveled for more than 6 hours while in our battery life test and was one of the better performers during our testing period. The Lenovo Legion Y7000 is not going to beat any productivity-focused laptops, but it's a reasonable result. If you want to make the battery last longer, turn off the ScreenPad Plus while you're running on battery. While this laptop is made for quick in and out work such as creative or gaming, it's best to be plugged into a wall outlet for any lengthy sessions thanks to its long battery life capabilities.
Number 4.
LG Gram 16 2022 Laptop Review. LG has released their new Gram 16 laptop, which is a lot of improvement over previous generations. It's an interesting competitor to Apple's MacBook Air and Dell's XPS 13. Presenting work on a desktop computer is distracting and not easy to do. Especially with today's crowded workspace, the ability to go mobile can be incredibly helpful. AI helps address this issue by delivering extra visual real estate while also providing a host of high-level features, making it a perfect tool for creatives, number crunchers, and other professionals. LG's design language is similar to that of Fujitsu and Dynabook. It's conservative, but its main target audience is digital nomads and business travelers. This laptop boasts a beautiful display with plenty of pixels and resolution. The screen is 16 by 5 inches, high quality and expensive to acquire. You'll be able to enjoy crisp, clear visuals on the LG Gram16 laptop's 16-inch externally facing screen with its perfect measurements. They will also match well when placed side by side. This car still features magnesium alloy construction with a ruggedness that makes it tough and able to dissipate heat well. However, this material is also flexible, making minor adjustments of the fitment or routing difficult. LG's LG Gram16 is a new laptop with a lot of connectors, HDMI 2.0, audio, Thunderbolt 4 inputs and microSD card slots. It also has two traditional USB 3.2 ports on the other side. The LG Gram16 comes with a full-size keyboard and a large touchpad that is perfect for clicking and scrolling. This is the second-generation Evo Gram16 laptop that LG has released to date. It features the Intel Core i7-1260p, which makes it an excellent choice for performance and efficiency digital revolution. Intel's new 8th-generation CPU provides more power for a more streamlined experience. The CPU has a minimum speed of 20 W, which it reaches when it hits its maximum clock speed of 4.7 GHz, and a maximum turbo power of 64 W. It also offers 18 MB of cache with an Intel Iris Xe GPU capable of driving an 8K monitor. LG's new 5.3-inch LPDDR5 memory processor is paired with a powerful processor to make the 1240p phone with plenty of processing power. The LG Gram16 is true portability at its best. This laptop is a powerhouse thanks to the SSD slots, enabling lightning-fast loading speeds on available files. This is a great solution to help you get more of your data on and off of your SSD quickly. It can be difficult to swap the existing drive that's at capacity or if the drive no longer works well. Reasonable speed, its leading storage technology. The Intel Wi-Fi 6E part, the AX211, has Bluetooth 5.3, which allows for a range of wireless capabilities in addition to being more powerful and reliable. The specification of the Core i7-1260PS single-thread performance is unmatched by any other PC tested in the Beelink GTR5. This also means it is similar to the AMD Ryzen 9 5900H found in this mini PC. This means the Gram16 is faster and more efficient than other devices in its category. It also makes it easier to focus on productivity tasks like writing messages and web surfing through its high-quality technology. The multi-thread performance of this laptop is outstanding considering its form factor. It matches the XMG Pro 17, a mobile workstation laptop with a more power-hungry Core i7-10870H CPU. The LG Gram16 laptop lasts nearly 10 hours on a single charge and can be found for a more affordable price. This is because AI software can quickly sift through large amounts of data for the most efficient solution. LG quotes 13.5 hours and 22.5 hours of video playback in airplane mode with its screens set at 150 nits and brightness respectively on their mobile device for the MobileMark 18 benchmark. Although the Gram16 comes with a lot of unwanted freebies, it is also unique because it has Alexa built into the speaker. It may be useful for some who rely on voice assistants in their work. The McAfee LiveSafe software came with an expired license, repeatedly prompting us to upgrade after the upgrade to Windows 11. They also included Microsoft Defender antivirus in the disk with it, and although it can be used, this version needs a separate installation which makes things more difficult.
Number 5.
MSI Creator Z17 Review. MSI's Creator Z17 features an exceptional design and makes life easier with a 21.7-inch display and its impressive build quality. In addition to that, the Z17 offers some amazing features such as VR-ready and secure digital media support. This laptop is made for hardcore gaming. It has insider hardware and has a very high screen resolution of 4K UHD. Inside and out, everything about the creative-leaning laptop has a bite that matches its visual bark. It even has LED lighting. This gray chassis is quite durable, which results in the ability to take a few more bumps and drops before its batched rendering. This means that after the CNC milled aluminum chassis has taken some abuse, you will have little doubt as to how well it will hold up. The display of the keypad is neat and easy to use. It can do justice to the latest TV broadcast standards by also delivering a high-definition picture. It has digital noise removal as well as very fast upscaling. Most importantly, it provides a flexible user experience with HTML5, phone browser, and remote desktop app support on Windows 8 tablets or iPhone iPad mobile devices. M5 has a large touchpad. The difference is in the size of the touchpad and precision you can achieve by pressing the finger or stylus, which is again 50% larger compared to the Creator Z16. You press harder. If you want fast results, then M5 is up for it. The keyboard itself features per-key RGB lighting that's customizable through the SteelSeries Engine app and is comfortable to use for long periods. Similar to my previous example, keystrokes feel tactile and springy but isn't especially loud. Below the arrow keys is a fingerprint scanner that almost sinks into the bottom panel, an uncomfortable feeling. Port placement is pretty good with the right side holding single HDMI 2.1, USB-A, and SD card slots. The left side is where the power port, 2 USB-C ports and 3.5mm combo jack is located alongside a small LED battery life indicator. You can find a solution to the above problem, provided you have an AirPort Express Plus with an intuitive tool like Zovo Studio or Pixel Perfect Editor. Both of these software tools have excellent support for both USB-A and USB-C connectivity and come with a wide range of triggers just like the stylus pen. A separate fan system that cools the computer is a feature of some models and can be valuable when headsets are not provided. Having the accompanying DTS software can be helpful, but that isn't a reliable answer. If you are set on getting audio from your DTS, then a pair of headphones is probably best. MSI has made gaming laptops with good portability and performance, but the MSI Creator Z17 takes what it learned in that category and applies it to a lighter, more portable gaming laptop. A laptop like this Sony Vaio VPC-Z12P BFP500 is a joy to use. It scores respectably well in our Puget Bench Photoshop and Premiere Pro benchmark tests, delivering 1,217 and 985 points, respectively. At first attempts, the color looked ragged, but after some minor tweaks to the output photo and changes to my brush settings, Photoshop worked as expected. Premiere Pro can produce high-quality export files as fast or faster than any rival video editor. It's just a simple yet effective video that shows the Creator Z17's capacity to create compelling video content. The output image is very positive and could work well when used as an ad campaign. Rendering and exporting a minute standard HD video for something like Instagram took about 3 seconds. It's worth noting that Creator has 2 cores processing at an average of 1.7 TFLOPs. Fast enough to power 4K gaming, the Creator Z17 is still capable of dealing with most AAA games on medium or high settings. Keyframe accurate frame rates of 90 frames per second, 110 FPS and 120 frames per second were also achieved. Compared to other titles, this is a huge increase with resolutions of 1080p and higher. Once you've done this and set the settings to maximum, you'll definitely notice a huge difference in real-world performance. Total War Warhammer 3 pushed out an average 64 frames per second, while Dirt 5 with max settings at the same resolution averaged 59 frames per second. The frame rate of the game depends on your PC hardware configuration and other factors. If you're running at 1080p and have a 7th Gen i5-7400 CPU, for instance, you may get 90 frames per second even though you try to crank ultra-high quality settings. The MSI Creator Z17 offers the same level of performance and power when paired with a laptop, but feels like a lot more than that when using the Z15s. The up-to battery life is admittedly an impressive feat that has only been achieved by laptops before. But the Creator Z17 was fast enough during the PCMark 10 battery life test to likely get you through a 16:9 movie or TV show without any issues. Thanks to MSI Battery Care, installing the app is a simple process. Some users have even used it for 100+ days on end to get sufficient battery life. Don't forget that you have real juice to make too. Innovative brands have started using jet packs as well. The timing is delayed, with the charging time going down by even more than usual. This can help valuable time where you need it much more urgently.
Number 6.
Dell XPS 17 2022 Review. The Dell XPS 17 still looks similar to last year's model, but it's not only one of the slickest and sleekest 17-inch laptops in its class, but also presently incorporates the 12th Gen CPUs received from Intel Corporation. The almost exactly identical configuration of the Dell XPS 17 displays a dramatic resemblance with the model that preceded it, but we recognize that it is pioneering progress. The XPS is incredibly sleek and beautifully crafted, having its chassis and screen cover made using machined aluminum and its palm rest being made out of carbon fiber. It still looks contemporary too, thanks to ultra-thin bezels on all 4 sides of the screen. And despite still containing a 720p webcam at the top with Windows Hello facial recognition capability. The chassis is very strong and the keyboard bed is fairly stable, though about half an inch of flex is present. The trackpad is roughly as good as it gets on a Windows laptop. Only Apple MacBooks, no other computer brand, have the trackpads they do. Of course, this is still a large machine weighing nearly 2 kilograms and measuring almost 14 inches across, but that's the case for the best off 17-inch notebook computers on the market, they're just never going to be small. That being said, slim bezels ensure only about as small a footprint as possible, so in case you have to have something this large, you at least receive most out of its size. The XPS 17 laptop is about as portable as 17-inch laptops get, with the exception of the light LG Gram 17, which is a little wider in terms of footprint, but lighter by 1.35 kilograms. USB-C ports provide full Thunderbolt 4 functionality with either DisplayPort or power delivery. On the hand, the boundaries of sponge XPSs may not map to the port selection. There's also a full-size SD card slot and an audio jack. Lacking that, though, is USB Type-A, a full-size HDMI socket, and a LAN port. You get the sleek chassis and high-quality look with the high price you have to pay for those features. The 6 performance cores of the Intel Core i7-12700H core are on par with the ones of the Core i9 processor series from Intel's most recent 12th Gen Alder Lake CPU family. The chip is only clocked slightly lower, so you wouldn't notice a difference. This machine can deliver nearly whatever you might want without sacrificing its high-performance characteristics. With its single-core performance, this machine is just as effective for everyday purposes. It is absolutely immersive when rendering 3D content or encoding video. That 32 GB of fully expandable RAM is virtually never going to run out, therefore, this laptop is perfect for multitasking. The SSD ensures that swapping data will happen without delay. However, with a PCIe Gen 4.0 SSD on board, data swapping is kept to a minimum when it does occur. Overall, it's a very speedy computer, the XPS 17. Exceptions allude to music and gameplay. After having compared with other integrated graphics cards and confirmed their performance level, unit utilizes the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050 Mobile GPU with 4 GB of video memory. It's a step up from regular integrated graphics, to be sure. Because our benchmarks show, it is possible to play video game titles at 1080p resolutions. However, just to some extent does it offer gaming-grade performance. Powerful computers like the Dell XPS 17 used to fix problems in regards to battery life. These days there's nothing to worry about. If you've got a heavy workload, including watching video content and surfing the web, you can still expect over 13 hours of battery life. That's all-day performance. If you're doing anything remotely demanding, that wattage will tumble dramatically, despite its huge 97 Wh battery. But this certainly isn't a laptop computer replacement kit, fretting over battery life the moment you disconnect it from the outlet. This system has legs.
Number 7.
HP Victus 15 Review. HP's most recent in its line of price-competitive gaming laptops, the HP Victus 15, is only made for the customer on the budget. And, even the least expensive version of the HP Victus 15 can play high-end games smoothly while not engaging the user in whatever else they require to do. If you want the exterior of the item to be durable and your property can withstand a heavy beating, then the HP Victus 15 just might be the thing that you need. It can be a hefty item at 5 pounds, so it may require some effort to carry, but it should not pose much of a problem at all. This laptop is going to cause its users a problem most usually related to its size and weight. A notable feature of the HP Victus 15 is that it is predominantly made from recycled materials and ocean-bound plastics, was painted with water-based paint, and is entirely recyclable. The recycled parts don't seem to negatively affect the build quality of the laptops assembled. The paint job is well done and lasting, in the sense that it's of good quality despite being the most minimal of the 3 color choices. The laptop computer has a total of 2 USB Type-A ports, a Type-C port, an Ethernet port, an SD card slot, an HDMI port, and a combo jack. Compatible with a variety of functions, this is probably the most versatile laptop for gaming and work. The display is 1920 x 1080 with superb quality when playing on highest and ultra settings. It's enhanced by the 144 Hz refresh rate. The bezel's dimensions weren't particularly narrow or effective in regard to preserving screen space. Its webcam is unfortunately 720p HD, and though it's not the finest resolution, it still suits the purpose. In terms of gaming performance, this cheap notebook comes with certain limitations. The NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 laptop GPU that is the stock graphics chip of HP Victus 15 notebooks has only 4 GB of VRAM. While running Dirt 5, benchmark and normal gameplay, error messages could pop up about VRAM storing too low. This occurred even though the game ran at full speed on its highest setting and close to full speed on its slowest setting. The issue of low VRAM wasn't seen on other test runs with titles including Cyberpunk 2077, Total War Warhammer 3, and Hitman 3. On the lowest setting, Cyberpunk ran at 48 FPS, which sounds slow but the game still looks and runs well. But you probably won't be maxing out your settings on this game. The HP Victus 15 fared poorly to other gaming laptops in the standard benchmarks like Cinebench, Geekbench, PCMark 10, and 3DMark. However, the difference between its scores wasn't great even though its specs were its weakest point. The HP Victus 15 is a top-notch device for using the best peripherals to play music and movies. As well as assisting with other tasks like editing documents, the Victus 15 efficiently tunes into available entertainment content. Like most gaming laptops, the battery is the worst part of the Victus 15, and we're no different. In both of our battery tests, the laptop ran for just a little more than 4 hours, which is half of a full workday. It was capable of keep up for the length of our gaming session if we used it for simple everyday tasks. Though the battery life is much shorter for gaming, we could only manage to collect data for around 2 hours at a time. Although the electric charge time is slow while using the charger it comes with, it's around an hour to get close to 60% charged. That charge time would be quicker if using a USB Type-C charger, and something we would highly recommend if such a charger is available.
Number 8.
HP Elite Dragonfly G3 Review. The G3's aluminum and magnesium alloy enclosure can be considered an attractive and stylish choice for fans of green technology. Its gunmetal gray body contains 90% of the recycled aluminum in the casing, offering shoppers an eco-friendly choice. The screen has dragonfly-shaped lettering, considers the keyboard built-in, and above the keyboard is a speaker grille. The edges are curved, the sleek HP logo on the lid glows with a chrome effect, and the bezels are thin. The laptop screen can open and respond to a 180-degree angle, which facilitates collaboration between users as well as viewing. The distinctive form factor of the Dragonfly G3 allows it to distinguish itself from previous G2 units. This book isn't only designed to make you look good. The distinction between slimness and width in the other notebook is due to the difference in design and screen size. We are confident about the Dragonfly's MIL ST810H test showing that it will function under a variety of environmental conditions such as drops, spills, extreme warmth and cold, and intrusion of other damaging items. In spite of its high weight, the HP Chromebook 13, which weighs 2 pounds, is only 0.8 cubic inches in dimension. Its lightweight and robust design will ensure that you have the ability to use this machine in the office while also taking trips without fear of losing it. HP's machine has 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, with one side and the far right end having a USB 3.2 Gen 1 input with a slide-out cover, an audio jack and a Kensington lock cord connector. The left edge of the machine deploys an HDMI 2.0 output, and the right-hand Thunderbolt port delivers 65W of electrical current. Dual-band 802.11 and Bluetooth 5.2 allow connectivity. The HP has its own fingerprint reader in the power-on button. Security options still function, with TPM 2.0 and the HP's own Wolf system, which will defend the BIOS, prevents viruses, and offers nifty system control and recovery options. There's also the webcam. 5MP resolution provides crisper, more accurate pictures than on the majority of other laptop shooters because you are aware that Apple and Dell both have 720p optics. Among the things that did not work well were the image filters. They were unsubtle and did not add anything to the experience. If you want a laptop with more imaging hardware, your best choice is the Surface, which combines a 5-megapixel webcam with a 10-megapixel rear-facing camera. There's a lot to love about the display. The panel for the Dragonfly has a diagonal of 13.5 inches and a 31:16 aspect ratio. This is a smart design, as it increases the vertical space to strike a balance between convenience and productivity. The panel delivers an outstanding quantity of brightness of 775 candelas M2, on a par with a contrast ratio of 2500, and sits between a black point of 0.31 candelas M2 and gray threshold of the Huffington Post's images look amazingly real but with a lot of subtle shade differences. The HP Elite Dragonfly G3 can be set up with various CPU chips, but our examination sample arrived with a Core i7-1255U, one of the top business CPUs Intel has produced in the low-power Navy. The i7-1255U's base power limit is just 15W and it can reach up to 55W, and it is optimized for replacing the Intel Core i7-1165G7. Attached to the processor are 2 P-cores with 8 single-threaded E-core. The P-cores have base and boosted speeds of 1.7 GHz and 4.7 GHz, while the E-cores run at 1.2 GHz and 3.5 GHz. The limited CPU indicates that the Dragonfly delivers excellent thermal performance. You'll only hear fan noise if you place your ear right up against the case and, even then, it is very silent. The metal above the keyboard and at the bottom of the unit gets very warm with prolonged CPU usage, but the temperatures aren't an issue at all.
Number 9.
Apple M2 Review. The new Apple M2 chip has been touted as a much faster platform than others, but Apple isn't reputable when it comes performing its own in-house benchmark studies, so it would make sense to take Apple their words at face value. The M2 is available in a variety of cross-platform apps, making it ideal for comparison with devices that excel in Windows-based programs. In fact, it compares favorably with devices that pack the AMD Ryzen 7 6800U and Intel Core i7-1260P. Much like all Apple Silicon products, the M2 uses the ARM architecture as opposed to the Intel x86 architecture that is typical for Windows devices. The microprocessor section has 8 cores, divided into a 4x4 layout of 4 high-performance SVGA 3 cores, and 4 efficient Shardy cores. The M1 and the M4 are identical in terms of basic architecture, but different in that the latter has more highly performing cores and uses fewer efficient core. The performance cores are designed to outperform its predecessor by clocking up to 3.5 GHz. The M2 is designed for hot-swappable chips used in mobile systems. The integrated GPU arrives in 2 versions. The one variant, with 8 GPU cores, was developed for testing. Another with an 10-core setup is also being tested. On the memory subsystem, it is LPDDR5-6400 over a 128-bit bus, providing approximately 100 GB of bandwidth, different from the M1 that used LPDDR4X, but with less LPDDR5 bandwidth as the M1 Pro and above. Apple's quick usage of the same M2 name for 2 distinctly different CPUs with differing graphics cards is silly. While the company could downplay these technical details, it would be better if names were different for each chip. The Apple M2 is an unusual processor that is unlike those that can be found in AMD and Intel. There's no denying that it can do well in a number of areas, but it doesn't mean it always has the edge that you might consider, especially if you're inclined to ingest effusive hype. The computer system's CPU comprises 4 performance and 4 efficiency cores, which makes it relatively well balanced as both a remarking and functioning machine. The individual chip, on the other hand, is less than an elite piece to recent generations of x86 laptop computers. Multiplication times less than about 15 times per second were the norm on hand jobs on various processors, from the AMD Ryzen 7 6800U to the Intel Core i7-1260P. The M2 has good dual and single-thread speed, but does not offer the absolute best speeds in either category. This was somewhat surprising given Apple's node strength in TSMC 5 nanometers, a generation ahead of what is being used by AMD and Intel. We're hoping this would bring class-leading microprocessor performance. The GPU blocks and the integer operations engine are exceptional and led to some functions matching the Ryzen 7 6800U's integrated Radeon graphics. M2's lack of compatibility conflicts with the process resolving jobs like Blender or Agisoft Metashape using GPU acceleration. The most optimal time to perform is within an environment where all of Apple's accelerators are utilized in unison, and that is nearly the case in the video production industry, where the M2 peak function works in the best manner. M2-powered laptops are well suited for video creators thanks to their ProRes hardware acceleration, an extremely fast GPU, and low consumption of energy that allows them to be used virtually in silence while editing. macOS is also an especially useful ecosystem for video editing, so it's really an ideal use case for M2-powered laptops.
Number 10.
Asus ROG Flow X16 Review. The Asus ROG Flow X16 is unique in its approach towards portable gaming with a convertible chassis and a miniature LED display. If you look past the price, you will find this is an beast. This change is stupefying. To give you an example, it typically doesn't matter how many external changes an Asus ROG notebook computer undergoes, this one has a sexy-looking 16-inch screen. The dimensions of the NVX 360 are 14.94 by 9.65 by 0.84 inches, and it weighs 4.61 pounds. The NVX 360 is an impressive gaming laptop that is quite portable and tricks the eye into thinking it is a lot heavier than it is. The unique design this space saver features, from the natural materials of the exterior to the sophisticated textures and subdued use of branding, and makes a significant proportion of people nodding their head as they feel lucky to have this sophisticated piece on hand in public settings. But that, along with half the story, is about the X16's leadership position in the Flow lineage. With its 360-degree hinge, the X16 is the most versatile 16-inch gaming laptop, in roughly the same way as using the ROG Flow X13 and ROG Z13. The X16 includes a limited selection of ports for connecting accessories. On the left, you will have the 3.5mm headphone jack, a Thunderbolt 4 port, an HDMI 2.0 port, the proprietary jack for the XG mobile GPU, and the power cable jack. The left side contains a USB-A port, an Ethernet jack, and a power button. It takes an AUX port and a USB-A slot on the right. The bright, bold and colorful jewel in the Flow X16 crown obtained near the Flow X11, ordered over Flow X32. You're ordering a 16-inch, mini-LED touchscreen display with a QHD resolution and 165Hz refresh rate, and it will create a significant impact. The Razer Blade 15 Max tops the roster of gaming laptops with a 447 nits determination of brightness, besting the ROG Zephyrus G15, the TUF Gaming F15, the MSI Vector GP76, and the Alienware M17R5. The keyboard on the ROG Flow X16 is similar to that of the keyboard used by the Zephyrus G15. It offers a solid set of keys that you easily press with your fingertips, along with a soft touch plastic base that gives your wrists a comforting feel. Going south, the 5.1x 3.3-inch touchpad feels generously large in surface area, expand ing, and gliding naturally for long stretches and making Windows 11 and multi-touch gestures feel satisfyingly quick and responsive. With ease of use and no supercapacitors, the Flow X8 manages to have rather good battery life in testing, reaching 7 hours and 5 minutes in the battery informant test. In non-gaming mode, it totally outperformed the M17R5 and outperformed the Vector GP76. In a short time, you can find out how things work on high settings using the 104 PC Mark 10 result. However, the magic in these AMD Ryzen 6000 CPUs does not cease in high specifications contexts. The 720p webcam with IR for Windows Hello support is what you'd hope it would be. It's a potato, but a handy potato nonetheless. Inside you'll find a pretty comprehensive cooling system with 5 heat pipes, a pulsar cooler, Asus Frost Force Tri-Fan thermal module, liquid metal on the CPU, and all of that can't quite withstand the heat onslaught of packing so much tech into such a tiny base. Just like all other latest Asus laptops, Armoury Crate is the go-to application for managing your CPU, GPU, and fan performance. Here, you will also find singular choices to customize your keyboard backlight and screen color contrast, as well as a consolidated game launcher that pulls in all titles from your online stores into one place.
Number 11.
Acer Chromebook 514 Review. The Chromebook 514 is extremely battery efficient and known for its low cost and moderate performance, yet its disadvantages stand out after a lengthy use. The simple aesthetic of this Acer Chromebook 514 laptop play to its minimalist design. The lid silver color is virtually the sole feature, and it looks a bit generic, however the sleekly modern appearance makes it urbane overall. The laptop's lid opens to reveal 2 buttons on either end of the black keyboard. A silver touchpad in the middle has a reflective surface beneath it. A sticker placed near the bottom right proclaims the laptop's capabilities, such as its 15-hour battery life and a narrow bezel design. The top bezel features a 720p webcam, while the bottom bezel has another reflective logo. The upper and lower bezels aren't large, but they aren't narrow either. The Acer Chromebook 514 is 12.7 x 8.9 by 0.7 inches. Its weight is approximately 2.87 pounds. However, the Acer Chromebook Spin 514 weighs significantly less than Acer's Aero laptop, despite the fact that they are the same size. The left side of the Acer Chromebook 514 is underpowered by JCB-certified USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-C and USB 2.0 Gen 1 Type ports. It also has a headphone jack. The right side has one Type-C USB 3.2 Gen 1 port available. Unfortunately, it is not a good alternative for ports, but would like a microSD card reader and Kensington lock. Chromebooks are meant to be carried, so having the ability to upload files from a microSD card and protect this system from thieves with a Kensington lock is very important. The Acer Chromebook 514's 14-inch display, 1920x 1080 resolution, is barely not up to snuff. A modest user will not be overwhelmed after looking at the FHD display of this affordable, low-power gadget. At the darkest point in a pitch-black room, it was as if in front of a reflective mirror the size of a floor that were completely black up to the square inch. Even amid daylight while an enormous crocodile dinosaur munched on a cage at sea, the display appeared as though held back by the equipment's inadequate light. The saturation also seemed odd, with faces appearing unnaturally cool with little depth to the colors. The Acer Chromebook 514 has a mediocre touchpad. The cursor's movement is unsatisfactory, the touchpad traction is weak. With a MediaTek Companion A28 ARM Cortex-A76 CPU, a Mali G57MC5 GPU, 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM, and 64GB of flash memory running the Chrome OS, the Acer Chromebook 514 runs smoothly for its price. The battery life of the Acer Chromebook 514 is the main focal point. It's the finest of all features, which makes it an excellent choice for long trips or working long hours without recharging. The Acer Chromebook 514 runs temperatures that regularly find too warm while touching some of its surfaces. Its touchpad and the bottom got up to temperatures at which frequently set other limits. Its hottest reading got up to 101 degrees in a distinguishing place of its bottom, higher than 95-degree comfort threshold. The 720-pixel webcam of the Acer Chromebook 514 is terrible in its sharpness and light balance, even in the most well-lit areas. The imaging requires too much fine detail for processing and the resultant image is too soft and blurry.
Number 12.
Razer Blade 14 2022 Review. A rugged, lightweight, but high-priced laptop that provides good gaming experiences and a vibrant screen resolution. The Razer Blade 14 offers strong gaming performance at both 1080p and 1440p resolutions, with a 165Hz refresh rate and ample ports. The Razer Blade 14 does not resemble previous versions too much. That is not necessarily a bad thing, though. The design for the Razer Blade chassis has been iconic, a signature look that defines the Razer laptop brand. For good reason. It is clean, has a distinctive design, and contains a bright RGB keyboard. The body of the Blade 14 is cut from extra high-strength aluminum, after which the entire body is painted black. Through its sleek style, everything about the Blade 14 screams substantial build quality. There is some minimal pivot on the screen hinge, and the chassis is very stiff. The 14-inch screen means that the keyboard has little room to breathe, a problem that's not helped by the dual speaker grills on each sides of it. The stereo system of the Razer Blade 14 is pretty good, but its presence means that the keys are too narrow to the right of far left and a little squashed. The trackpad is something different, a luxurious, responsive rectangle with glass for satisfying finger travel and a superb, weighty clap. Every Blade laptop computer now includes at least one of these features, and they're always a joy to use. The physical connectivity is good, offering USB-A and 2 USB-C ports with multiple HDMI outputs to permit connecting a second display. There's no Ethernet port, so you may have to rely on Wi-Fi here, but that shouldn't cause problems for most users. If you choose to open up the case, the 1TB SSD can be replaced with the RAM soldered in place, so no memory upgrades are possible here. Last of all, there's the screen. Here's the screen. Every Razer Blade model comes equipped with an excellent screen. Audio in this 165Hz refresh rate makes it suitable to video games where frame rate is a top priority and can reproduce 100 DCI-P3 colors well for digital photography and art editing. It's a stunning monitor for an equally gorgeous laptop computer. The highest level member of the RTX 3070 graphics card family accessible to us isn't as impressive as a wholly decked out counterpart, but it is still a solid option between the two. For this reason, we'd even suggest that the RTX 3080 Ti model of Razer Blade 14 is redundant, as it doesn't have a 4K screen. 1440p gaming is fun to play, with a great many video games able to clear 60 frames per second at minimum hardware settings. For some games, this simply requires small modifications. Rather than utilizing NVIDIA DLSS to boost up from 1080p resolution, giving up this technique allows for better overall performance. Ray tracing is very much on the table, though it depends on NVIDIA's DLSS. The Cyberpunk 2077 RTX TM benchmark cleared 60 frames per second by turning on DLSS at 1440p and lowering the texture detail to medium, but was still playable at ultra settings. The gaming performance of the AMD Ryzen 9 6900HX, which is currently a popular processor for gaming laptops, is, by and large, good across all substances, though it does not quite reach the high levels of Intel's competing i9-12900H, thanks to the latter's processors administering hardware operations in the background while you game. SSD speed is lightning fast, video games reload quickly, and internal file transfers occur in seconds. The 61.6 Wh battery contained in the Razer Blade 14 is much smaller than some of those employed in gaming laptops, so it performed reasonably in our battery life tests. Playing a looped video at 50 brightness gave us over 8 hours of battery life, which is very good considering how much power the system's onboard hardware has. To play games on mobile devices while on the go, you should shut down the infrared and LED illumination and dim the brightness from the bottom of the display, but you should be able to enjoy up to 3.5 hours of gameplay on a single charge. The included AC adapter isn't too large and charges the laptop relatively quickly, but Razer still insists on using its own proprietary charging port.
Number 13.
MSI Prestige 14 Evo A12 Review. The MSI Prestige 14 Evo A12 is a great choice if you want an inexpensive laptop computer with powerful performance, but it can't shine with its scratchy speakers and underwhelming display, so those with greater discernment might not be dazzled by it. The Prestige 14 Evo has a dark bluestone chassis that, when viewed through a dim spectrum, seems to glow with a convincing effect like the movement of a glacier in warm light. It's where you can enjoy the enticement it shares with vibrant hues. This lid features a reflective silver face from an MSI logo in the middle of the company in the subtle, futuristic typeface. It is a simple design, and it also avoids elaborate or exuberant logos and offers the lid focal point some breathing room. Lifting the lid reveals the two thin bezels that are situated at the outer edges of the 14-inch screen, a 720p webcam in the upper bezel, and an MSI logo in the lower bezel. Opening the lid lifts the computer by 5 degrees, creating gaps between the surface and the laptop's base, allowing for more air flowing and cooling more efficiently. Its hinge can also support a 180-degree angle. Lifting the touchpad's lid when the device is shut down is a pain. The Prestige 14 Evo S lid doesn't stick out enough from front to be able to lift easily. The Prestige 14 Evo has dimensions of 12.6 by 8.6 by 0.6 inches and weighs 2.7 pounds, making it even lighter than the most recent model and crushing the majority of its competition. The Prestige 14 Evo surpasses the MIL STD 810G standard for endurance, allowing it to hold up to any sort of knick-knack drops, extreme heat, harsh vibrations, cold, extreme altitudes, and humidity. It's built to last, but we advise not dropping it regardless of this. The Prestige 14 Evo includes two Thunderbolt 4 Type-C ports located on the left, each of which can be used to charge the laptop. On the right side is a USB Type-A 3.2 Gen I port, a headset jack and a microSD card reader. This 14-inch 1920x1080 pixel Full HD display provides great colors and good brightness, but it's nothing spectacular. It's more than adequate for use as movie screen in a dark room, but in daylight the display is cumbersome. The MSI Prestige Evo S bottom-facing loudspeaker system stands as the pinnacle of mediocrity. The Prestige 14 Evo includes a Core i5-1240p 12th generation processor, 16GB of RAM, and 512GB of storage space. While it may seem underpowered, particularly in comparison to other laptops, its performance is nothing to criticize. Transferring a 25GB file from our laptop computer through a standard network cable established transfer speeds up to 954 MB per second, whereas the box company average of 825 MB per second was not much better than the Galaxy Book 2 Pro's speed. The battery life of this computer is not great, but it will last you throughout the workday. On the laptop mag battery test, which involves continuous surfing over Wi-Fi at 150 nits, the computer lasted a total of 8 hours and 45 minutes. Unlike several of the built-in self-cleaning laptop webcams, the 720p webcam on the top-end Prestige 14 is a very modest processor. It offers off-dash, underexposed, and fuzzy images. You might be able to find a better webcam for video conferencing if you frequently connect. The Prestige 14 Evo provides users with Windows 11 when it first is launched. Windows still has a lot to be done to suitably fit the needs of users, so not many will start using the latest version of it.
Number 14.
MSI Katana GF76 Hands-On Review. The Game Gear 76 contains a black plastic chassis with a logo embossed on the belly. Simplicity is key, and as a fan of minimalist designs with a touch of exquisiteness. When you open the lid, you'll bask in the bright, red lights emitted from a set of small, Japanese island keyboard keys, and a reduced-size touchpad. Since they complement the aesthetic design of classic samurai warriors, these keyboards tend to seem tacky in programs that don't enhance the background. The screen is more attractive due to its slimmer bezels and slightly more narrow chin. The Katana GF76 has dimensions of 15.6 by 10.7 by 0.99 inches and weighs 5.7 pounds. However, it packs a 17.3-inch display. MSI intentionally kept the costs down by utilizing backlit keys and plastic housing without RGB, but nevertheless chose not to sacrifice its stylish look. The Katana GF76 is not a cutting-edge gaming device, but there are a lot of plug-and-play ports for a mouse and keyboard. You can connect using the 3.5mm audio port while playing video games. In the left corner, there are a power jack and two USB Type-A ports, while on the right there is an RJ45 Ethernet port, an HDMI 2.0 port, a USB Type-C port, a USB Type-A port, and a headphone jack. For a large 17.3-inch 144Hz FHD display, the Katana GF76 doesn't do much to improve it. Not only is the screen's brightness pretty low, but so is the contrast. The Katana is not a good gaming media box owing to the fact that it lacks a decent loudspeaker and a lot of wireless gaming headsets on the market. Whatever your thoughts on the distinctive red glow of the typist's keyboard for the Katana GF76, there is still nothing wrong with a real-life typing experience. The keys were responsive and comfortable, and the absolute minimum force was required to press them because of the streamlined layout of the island-style keyboard. The 4.1x 2.6-inch touchpad felt too unstable and cheap when clicking. At least Windows 10 gestures, such as two-finger scrolling and three-finger tabbing, performed well. Equipped with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050 Ti with GDDR6 video memory, it's simply so much you can do with this GPU. Throwing around RTX 30 does not mean that it can play well the latest games at high quality. The MSI Katana MGF76 glory is its Intel Core i7-12700H processor and the 16 GB of RAM it has on board. The Katana CPU in the 12th Gen Intel Core i7-12700H family should work well with the GF8 Katana. It shows good results in this regard, but with its 512GB solid-state drive, its transfer rates won't be at their full capabilities. Battery life in gaming laptops has been growing, and while the 53Wh battery doesn't appear to be much, it did a good job holding on for a day of dedicated use. Last longer than 5 hours watching YouTube videos, listening to songs, and working in Google Docs. Oh right, not even close to the video quality of a 720p webcam. It's going to distract Marilyn Monroe's beauty, so recommend that you do not use it as a webcam. An example of a poor quality webcam is worse than that one. Unlike most gaming laptops, the MSI Katana GF76 features the MSI Helix Center as its central app. It monitors CPU, GPU, disk space, and memory usage. It also lets you adjust general Windows settings and central driver software. Apart from this, MSI doesn't include other apps in its package. Boasting a 17.3-inch screen, good battery life, and powerful 10th Gen CPU, the RTX 3050 gaming laptop is worth the money for gamers on a budget.
Number 15.
Dell Inspiron 16 2-in-1 2022 review. Dell Inspiron 16 2-in-1 is an outstanding laptop, having the capability to handle everything from productivity to mid-range gaming. The battery's duration is one of its outstanding features, complemented in part by its touchscreen, processing power, webcam, and speakers. This Dell Inspiron is mostly made of very sturdy aluminum, balanced with a surprisingly thin frame. The tall and thin screen and large chassis give it a far more durable feel than the typical 2-in-1, which tends far more to be simple. Thus, for that reason, it has a rugged design that supports a weight of 5 pounds. Among style choices, the selection of dim silver or dark green makes the computer stand out even more in the field of black laptop computers. The Dell Inspiron 16 2-in-1 includes a touchscreen, making it responsive and engaging. The touchscreen is very responsive to every touch command, with no delay between the command and its execution. The biggest downside is the glare, which shines through like daylight when the Inspiron 16 2-in-1 is exposed to the sun's rays. Unfortunately, this is a touchscreen Windows laptop, therefore a stylus is not included. The display itself has a 1080p resolution and a 1080p webcam, translating to beautifully represented colors that have excellent photo quality that can be used when performing work or playing. The mechanical slider directly above the camera is located in the top middle of the bezel, which would look a bit too thick here, but it serves as a decent privacy feature. Even though the machine lacks a numeric keypad, its unique style fits well with the nature of the machine. You can specify the keyboard's color between black and gray when buying, and it has a backlight that's helpful for dark and poorly lit areas. The keys and touchpad are well proportioned and have a soft, velvet-like texture that readily catches your fingertips and makes it easy to type, and evades typos. There are a number of different charging ports available on the computers that allow you to charge a phone, tablet, laptop, and other electronic devices. There is one headset port, one HDMI port, one USB Type-A port, and one SD card slot. This cements the ability that the Dell Inspiron 2-in-1 162530 in the urine wallpaper allows the computer to work on work-related tasks, video games, etc. While the 16-inch model does have the same issue of it being too difficult to get an out from the Thunderbolt 4 port as it was in 14 inches. The 14-inch version of this laptop is stellar more than others in the same class, and the 16-inch model is even more striking. It handles streaming, multiple documents, video calls, and more without dropping performance. Civilization 6 and Civilization V are also among them as it runs on the low and medium settings well, achieving 50 frames per second even on the highest settings. The Dell Inspiron 16 2-in-1 outperformed the 14-inch version in every test except for the Geekbench single-core test. The one difference is its Geekbench multi-core test, where it performed at slightly less than 50%. In addition, the the 16-inch generated lower frame activity in Wikimedia's Civilization 6 benchmark than the 14-inch. Nevertheless, both models still hold value in realistic situations. This is where this 2-in-1 really shines, as the sharp 16-inch 2-in-1 screen makes almost any image vivid and color. At the same time, its touch controls are responsive, like using the trackpad and keyboard and playing games that support them. As a result of the quality of its webcam, the computer is exceptionally well suited to conducting video conferences. It's got a generous 1080p default setting and can reach 30 frames per second undisturbed. Many comparable laptops around the Dell Inspiron 16 2-in-1's price range either don't have a camera at all or it's a low-quality 720p. With its high-power Alder Lake battery, the Dell Inspiron 16 2-in-1 offers a runtime of 11 hours and 30 minutes when Wi-Fi, web browsing, document editing, and conference calling are all in use at once. It uses the space to its full potential by having a battery that's larger and more powerful than the battery in a smaller model. It allows more than 200 wear into the chassis of the Inspiron 14 2-in-1, but only 54 wear into the chassis that the ProBook Elite 65 wear has to offer.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more reviews.